What up?
I do
Oh,
so apologize to our viewers for putting the wrong time on the event.
Yeah,
It happens.
oh,
Jeff
So,
Gilreath hit me up. He's like, dude, I sent you like in 30
apologize.
minutes.
I was in a big rush and I guess I thought I hit 8 and I hit 6. And so, sorry. Hopefully, people will make it, even though we're, you know, technically 2 hours late given the time that it says. Um, yeah, it's been a long week, y'all. Anyway, hi everybody. How you doing? I'm multitasking here, so
Me too.
welcome to the Love of Lapidary Podcast,
Hello.
where we gather and talk about everything lapidary related because that's what we do and that's what we love. Um, Glad to see everybody here tonight. Hopefully, Matt will make it at some point. I'm Courtney King, CNS Services. Apologize. I'm doing 40 things at one time. It's been a week here in Maryland.
You too.
well, I see you broke that. You bought a new vehicle for your business. I seen that today.
Yeah, well, we kind of had to. We had a Honda CRV that Lisa used to drive. We've had it for about 3 years, and she had a small accident yesterday.
Ah,
Guy plowed into her. Um, Not very nicely and totaled the vehicle. Everybody's fine. But so we went out today and bought a new car because she deserves it and she's got to get to work. So now we're twins and we have the exact same car. Uh,
good.
yeah, yeah. It was a lot of fun going shopping today. Um, but other than that, it's just been, the normal crazy on this end of the world. So what's been going on with you guys? I saw you had a soft opening for the store.
We did. We got some plastic tarps up as walls, but we set up the store and we're going to be open on weekends here for a little while and we'll
Nice.
go to a big show, but then we'll be back. So
Very
to
nice.
kind of make it a weekend store this time, and then I'll get it all finished after the first of the year. Then we'll be open all the time.
There you go. There you go.
Heck yeah.
I think that's awesome. Yeah, I was super excited when I saw the pictures and stuff. So that was really cool. What about you guys? What are you
Go
guys
ahead,
doing?
Dave.
The guys that haven't spoken yet. David, what are you doing?
Well,
What you up to?
not a whole lot of anything. I've been doing a little bit of slabbing, did a little bit of cabbing, but I missed last week, and I'm still recovering. I was down with COVID again,
Don't say that word.
and oh man, that's
You
That's
sound like a
nasty.
country singer. I feel so bad for you,
Yeah,
man.
your voice
oh
That's how
still
we
sounds
sounded
a
too.
little bit off, right?
yeah. It's still. Matter of fact, my wife is down with it now,
Oh wow.
and this is the fourth time I've had COVID. But I work in a hospital, so it just we have units that are down now that they have shut down completely, that the patients can't leave the units, and so yeah. But I managed. I did, and some of you already saw them. I did manage to get up out of bed a couple of times and
I
do a
did. You've been doing some really
little
sad.
bit of
Is that
cabbing.
the Matt Elliott stuff?
Yeah,
It's beautiful.
I've been waiting a long time to get some of that, and I'm telling you, that's fabulous material. And those are just some of the end cuts, where when you slab and you have that little end piece that comes off. That's expensive material. I wasn't wasting a single drop of it, so I freeformed those end cuts and made those
Oh, nice.
really nice material. Looking forward to doing some of the main stuff.
There you go.
Right.
There you go.
That's always a blast.
We've just been slabbing. We were cutting yesterday and the power went out. Whenever
Oh,
we were
no.
cutting a huge rock, whenever the power went out and it bent our blade.
Oh,
45
no.
degrees, so gotta go
Oh,
get a new blade.
No,
Your new blade that you just got?
Yeah, it happens. That's
It happens.
lapidary though, right?
Gosh, yeah.
Is that the 18-inch?
Absolutely.
20.
20. Ouch.
Wow,
That's
that
like a
sucks.
$350 blade.
Yeah, we got
Uh-huh.
a hookup. They're not too bad for us.
Mhm. But yeah, no, we've
Wow.
just been having shows, doing boxes,
Yeah, lots of shipping.
lots of shipping.
I got 3
Yeah.
boxes in the mail. I was so excited. I can't wait to open them.
I got to show off my cool new mug.
Yes.
Oh, dude.
It's
That
all
is
right.
actually, I like
Now, are
that.
you selling
That's
those,
sick.
Brad, or
Yes,
yeah?
we do. We got some for sale. They're 20
Okay.
bucks a piece.
Okay, you know I need one.
For 25 bucks, they get a bag of fresh roasted coffee beans that a buddy of mine does. You have to grind them yourself, but they're fresh
Oh, really?
roasted. It's a 1 pound bag, coffee mug and a 1 pound bag of coffee for 25 bucks.
Me, please.
Well, heck, man,
Yep.
that bag
Me
of coffee
too.
beans is a 15-pound bag or a $15 bag. They're
Two
fresh roasted coffee
months,
beans.
no
are spendy.
caffeine for me.
Nothing
Really?
My husband grinds
Double
his own
grinded.
beans
Oh,
anyway.
come on,
so-
man. I drink coffee for everyone's safety.
There you go.
It's all in your mind.
It is in my mind. If I don't get coffee, I'm unsafe.
right? Too funny.
Alrighty, so PPE. Let's talk about this
Yes,
a
we're
little
going to
bit.
talk about PPE tonight.
I'm ready.
What is PPE?
I wonder
Who
if
wants to
anybody
start
out
us
there
off?
knows.
What, say again?
Andrew's all ready to start us off. He's dressed
Oh,
up and
dude.
ready for show and tell.
Yep. Well, guys, sometimes you need to be thinking about yourself when you're cutting stones.
Definitely.
And that's whether you're using a Dremel, you're using a rotary tool, you're using a cab machine, slab saw, trim saw, whatever it is. Whatever you are grinding stone with, chopping through it, you got to
Yes.
use PPE.
And what
Does
does
anybody out there
PPE
know what
stand
PPE
for
stands
again?
for? It's personal protective equipment.
Mhm.
A part of my daily life because of where I work.
Right, right.
Yep, including face shields, the whole 9 yards. A matter of fact, because of the type of hospital I work in, it goes a whole lot deeper than that. I mean, we have torso pads, shoulder pads, helmets. We have the whole 9 yards because I work in a forensic psychiatric hospital.
Wow.
Yeah, so some of the same gear that we use with what we do right here. Believe it or not, I actually have a helmet with a noggin knocker on top of it, and the whole 9 yards that I can use out here. I bought this actually when I was using my table saw. These are really good to have.
Yes.
But this also works out here. There's sometimes I just can't wear, a face mask or something going on, and I can wear this, but pieces of rock will bounce off of this. And this type of glass, it doesn't shatter. So if something comes loose somewhere and hits it, your face is protective. And there are times when it's necessary.
Yeah, yeah. So there's those, right? The goggles like Andrew had on, the respirators. If you're working with the toxic rocks,
Gloves.
the basic
Gloves would
dust
also
mask.
be PPE, right?
Right.
Gloves, yep.
Right.
What kind of gloves? Like I just
Nitrile.
wear basic nitrile gloves, right?
Nitrile gloves.
Trial's pretty
Nitrile
pretty
is
uniform.
definitely what I would say.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. And I wear them mainly on my left hand, specifically to protect my wedding ring. Unless I'm working with, something super toxic. I don't generally wear them.
Yeah.
Other than to protect my wedding ring. And that's only because it was getting so dirty and so disgusting that I had to do something about it.
If you're ever going to cut like colored glass or slag, stuff like that, where it's going to fragment while you're cabbing it, gloves are a great idea for that too, especially
Yes.
goggles. You don't want that going in your eye.
Right.
Ooh.
Right. I've had that happen, actually.
Yeah.
Jaws
No,
made
thank
a
you.
really good point with obsidian equals eye protection.
Yep.
Obsidian for
Yes.
sure also.
Yes.
Anything that has any real silication to it, I mean, really what it is, it's just glass, which is what, chalcedony is. Any type of microcrystalline quartz, including an obsidian or agate or anything else, it's really just pieces of glass going in your eye.
Yep.
Right. And it doesn't feel good, you guys. I can
No,
tell you
it
from
doesn't.
experience. It does
No.
not feel good to have that stuff in your eyes.
No,
Now, I used to wear a hat, because so much of it would get in my hair. I've got a really aggressive blade on one of my trim saws, and I mean, it just flies everywhere.
Yeah.
But I lost all my hair, and so it's kind of a moot point now.
Good.
You know, you just brush it off a little bit now.
That's great. That's great. I'm trying to think. Oh, what about aprons? Do any of
I
you
have.
wear the
Andrew needs an apron.
Yeah, I do. I
I
wear
can
aprons
control the
no
water
matter
good
what
enough
I
that I
do.
don't need an apron.
Do you
but
really?
I look like I take a shower after I
I do
every
too.
time.
Because I always feel like you can never have enough water when
No.
you're working
Yeah.
with stones, right?
I'd
So,
rather have
I-
wet wheels than dry cabs.
I found the
Yes,
sweet spot.
That's right. That's right. And I've got my sorry Matt, I'm coming. I just saw your message.
Frank. That's a reverse
Hi
smell.
Matt.
That's in the
Sorry,
house.
honey.
He said, "Do I need a secret password to get in?"
No, you just need to do exactly what you just did because otherwise I don't see you. Sorry, Matt's here, y'all.
Woo.
I'm
What's
not
going
gonna
on,
bring the
Matt?
other
What's
one
up,
on
buddy?
that.
Crazy.
I do apologize, honey.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good.
But yeah, it's a gardener's apron, right? It's vinyl, it's waterproof.
Mhm.
I have another one at the store that's just a cheap, not nice as my gardener's one. But yeah, I wear them whether I'm at the saw, not the big saw because that's enclosed, right? But if I'm at the little saw or if I'm cabbing, because I do same thing, I just get soaked no matter what I do. So, because more water is always better. What about you, Matt? What kind of PPE do you have and or use? I don't have an apron. I love it, but for the trim
Nobody
saw,
said anything about ear protection.
Victoria did in the
Okay.
Oh,
comments.
did she?
Mhm.
Oh, she just said
earplugs. Yes, earplugs are phenomenal.
So
I
if you-
have
Huh?
if you're running over 60 decibels for any period of time, it's recommended that you wear ear protection.
right.
I don't. Typically, I wear earbuds when I'm grinding or cutting or whatever, or I got the stereo cranked up, probably well above 60 decibels. You know, but
Me too.
I wear glasses. You know, partly because I'm old and I can't see real good when I'm working up close. So I
Okay.
do wear cheaters. I do have side shields on my cheaters, and I wear a respirator because I have asthma. I also do wear an apron.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Typically, if I'm running my wheels or my saw, I put an apron on
Right.
just because
Right.
it'll
Yep.
soak the whole
We've had
front of
those
my
same
shirt.
glasses.
Those
Yep.
side shields really save you.
Yeah,
Mm.
I've got a pair of those too. Those are great. My husband got for me when I first started slabbing, like the little rocks, like on the tile saw, right? He came down here one day and was trying to talk to me, and I'm like, what? So he ordered for me. They're called decibels, and they mold. You know, you get them and you stick them in the hot water, and they mold to your ear, but they drown out enough sound that I can still hear if somebody's talking to me, or I can still hear my music very faintly, but it just drowns out that saw noise perfectly. So it doesn't hurt my ears, but I can still hear. So that's, if you're not trying to have one of those big, like the headsets that you wear if you're going to the gun range or something like that. If you're not trying to have something like that, those are a great thing to have. I am going to assume that the person that cuts holes in the trash bags and wears that is Sharon. Is that you, Sharon? She doesn't have an apron. Loves it for cabbing, but on the trim saw, she literally
was
got
for
the head
sure.
and armholes in a
It
big
was.
black trash bags and wears
And she
it.
also said that she
That
was
would
at the
work too.
supermarket, which is also a Sharon thing.
Yep.
Yes,
Yes, she was
absolutely.
at Costco.
Yep, that's got to be Sharon.
I just
Okay.
got mine at Johnson Brothers Lapidary. It's a vinyl one, $5 a piece, and I've been wearing
Okay.
that. Now, one thing you don't want to wear when you're cabbing, a leather apron, because I'm telling you, water weighs a lot,
Yep.
and leather absorb it. I tried that
Yeah,
already because I
yeah.
had one for my table saw and stuff I wasn't using, so
Right.
I started putting that on and went down here. I'm like, why does my neck and shoulders hurt so much? I'm like wearing 15 pounds of apron down in front of me now.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Hi, Rock Queen. Um, Waxed canvas is your friend. Yes, I would agree with
Beth
that.
Kelly Bambalam, dude.
Oh, really? What up, Beth?
Very nice. Yep, now she's on YouTube. That's
Thanks,
hilarious.
Sharon.
She's back in the car. I love that you listen
Good, man.
wherever you are, Sharon. That's phenomenal. And oil
We've
gush.
had plenty of bro shows where she's like, I'm going to the grocery store. I'm going to the
Always in Costco. Sharon's our Costco shopper. So what else about PPE that's important, or why to do it versus why not to do it? I mean, I guess there's really no reason not to do it,
So
right?
I
Other
don't
than
wear
that we're
a
lazy.
respirator when I cab. When I cab, I don't wear a
don't either.
respirator.
Not with any materials.
I wear one of these.
No,
I don't
yeah, see,
wear a
this is the only
respirator,
respirator
right?
that we have, and I use it, say, if we're cutting tiger's eye, or if we're cutting cinnabar. I like to be safe anyways. I know it could only happen when you're hot, but with these Nova wheels, it only takes the water not being there for a second to create a lot of heat. A lot of heat.
That's why more water, Ryan. Wear
Well,
your
I know, but
apron.
like, I mean, if you're cabbing and you run out of water while you're cutting cinnabar, you know what I mean? It could be dangerous, even if it's just for a sec.
Right. Know
So-
your stones. Don't be that sad story.
Yeah.
That's
And
true.
that's another side of PPE too, is knowledge. You need to know what you're cutting.
Yes.
Yeah, but like Peter's sight, tiger's eye, anything with asbestos in it,
Mhm.
serpentines, I would wear a respirator if I was cabbing that stuff for
Right.
sure.
saying I'll wear the
Um,
dust mask. I don't even own a respirator. I probably
And
should.
it's good to err on the side of caution for a lot of folks, right? And you know, fact of the matter is when you're hitting a stone on a wheel, it becomes aerosolized and it is in the air.
Right.
Hence the reason to take a shower when you're done, because it covers you, right?
Yep.
And you know, some people are more sensitive. It is also a cumulative type of issue, you know, over time. Your lungs don't expel that silica. So,
Right.
you know, many folks have polished rocks for a long time, and it's never been an issue. I can tell you, if I don't wear one, the reason why I wear one all the time, again, I have asthma, but the reason why I wear one all the time is because if I start polishing, I can tell right away the next morning when I get up that I was not wearing a respirator. Right.
Mhm.
Right. Look,
Some
great.
people are sensitive to it, and some people are, you know, they're
Right.
not sensitive to it.
Dave got cow pollen sleeves.
Yeah, these actually are from the chemistry department over at the college over here.
Ah,
And I started wearing those because the gloves, you know, the nitriles, they come right down here, and I've got water. And next thing, my hands are full of water. What good is it doing trying to protect your hands from something you're cutting if the
Right.
water's running right down inside your gloves? And then, you know, like Matt's talking about, I mean, the stuff, you know, it's up all over my arms and everything because of the spray that you're getting. So I started wearing these, and I can pull them right up over the tops of my gloves. I can come out here if I want to come out for a few minutes after work and not change my shirt first. Don't have to worry about my dress shirt or anything. I just come out here and go to cabbing. So I throw it, and they're reusable. I'll wear a set of these until they just won't even, you know, hold the elastic anymore on the bottom.
right.
And so she
I
got
haven't
these.
seen those in a long time.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great. I love that.
Frank said Tyvek suit.
Right?
What's up, baby?
I have Tyvek
Take a
suits,
shower.
believe it
Why
or not.
take a shower? Just wear
Yep.
your tie back.
Yep,
Do you
I've got
deliver
Tyvek
cows on the
suits.
side, Dave?
Pardon?
I said, do you deliver cows on the side?
You know, sometimes it would seem like it, but I work with a bunch of cows, really.
What were
My
they
aunt,
doing in
my
that
aunt used
chemistry
to
lab?
keep those around because she did. She would go. She had cattle,
Yeah.
and when it came time for the heifers to give birth, she was out there pulling
Right.
calves.
Did you ask what you do in a chemistry lab? Is that what you
Yeah.
said?
Yeah, what were you guys doing in the chemistry lab with those?
Some extremely volatile chemicals. Some of it you do not want on your skin,
Yeah.
and so things happen. And
Yeah.
my wife is a chemist, so they got these for some of the students. I mean, some of the experiments that they do, you get a little bit of overspray or something, you just don't want it on you. So they got these, and we're using them for a couple of things that they had. And they had several bags too many, and I was complaining about all that water in my gloves and up my arms, and so she brought me home a bag of them.
Nice.
And
Nice.
so yeah, just another thing, and you can get them. I mean, you can find them all kinds of places.
Yeah, you can get them from janitorial supply companies.
Yeah.
And order them for
And,
you. I used to
not
order
really
them for some
expensive.
hospitals that we dealt with when I was doing that.
So if you're, especially if you're
I
using
work for
bare
Leaton.
arms and you're sensitive, you can put them on there. And I remember once in a while, but I don't wear, probably the thing I wear more than anything else is that right there. And you're talking about with the Cinnabar and all that stuff. I've never worried about it. I just know enough about chemistry and the way the stuff works and the way it's embedded in the rock. If you got this on tight enough, for me, it works well enough. It stops those particles. But you can't get just one of the regular cheapy sawdust masks either. These are a good quality mask, and they have the fiber in it that will stop the fibers that come through. So stuff like that's important. It's not just about PPE; it's the quality of your PPE.
Yeah. So Frank knows what it's all about. He worked nuclear power for 31 years.
That is
right. There you go.
Ain't no joke there.
Awesome.
Yeah. And so, if Tyvek's good enough to use in a nuclear plant, it's probably going to be good enough to cab with.
Right. Well, we know Matt's got Tyvek suits, so.
I do.
You get the little pointy cap that goes on it, Matt?
I've got full moon suits. I got Class A hazmat suits if you need
wow.
me.
Yeah, because he goes and deals with that fun stuff we talked about.
Hey, it's a dirty job. It's something.
Yes. We appreciate you so much. Yeah, I am remiss 100% in most of my PPE. I have it all. I rarely use any of it unless I'm cutting something. Like if I'm doing spiny oyster or something like that, I'll wear the dust masks. I'll wear the gloves. But other than that, like I don't think about it. I'm cutting tiger's eye. I'm cutting petersite. I'm cutting all of this stuff with asbestos in it, and I don't even think about it because I just cut it so often. So if I die next year of silicosis, y'all know why, because I was not wearing my proper PPE. So don't be me.
I'd suggest just putting a fan next to your cab machine, because that's what we do when we're cutting just like basic silica-based things where there's no asbestos or
we open windows,
toxic things that could harm you if you breathe it in. We'll crack a window, get some good circulation going, and put a high-powered fan next to us.
And a fan in the window, so just blowing everything out.
Right. Blow it out.
Rather breathe like a fraction of what you would getting straight on.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I do need to do something.
Most of the stuff I cab doesn't bother me. What bothers me more than anything else is the smell of my dot pot with hot wax in it over here.
My God,
I love that smell.
Yeah, but it'll kind of make me a little queasy after a while.
Melting wires.
Right?
You don't like it.
I love it. But I used to, when I was a kid,
Courtney's walking around in her shop like,
I used to go, but I used to. Do you remember when you were a kid and going to the gas station with your mom or dad and being like, "I'll pump the gas" because you wanted to smell the gas?
Well, I like the smell of the gas. That's right.
The smell of gas is nice.
So, but I have no problem with the smell of the wax whatsoever.
Stand on top of a tanker of that gas for 18 hours.
Probably.
You go home feeling pretty toasty.
He said, "Just give it to me, man."
I got pizza sitting in front of the.
My dog is sitting here begging for pizza.
Ooba.
So, Hallelujah Hills, did you say that's Sharon?
That's Sharon, yep.
So, Sharon, one of the things you can do if you're having problems with your glasses fogging up that way, get you one of those little fans that are about 3 inches around. Try setting on top of your cabbing machine and have it blow on your glasses, see if that'll help keep the fog away.
What you can do is spit on them. I'm not joking. I'm dead serious.
Really?
Yes.
Very much so.
Saliva and wash it off. You can also go like to a sporting goods store or whatever, and they have anti-fog stuff. But
Dawn dish soap.
Age old, right? put a little saliva on there, wipe it off with a towel or shirt or whatever, polish them up, and it will keep them from fogging.
You know,
Okay.
Des plays hockey in Dawn dish soap.
That's
Works
what
every
somebody
time.
just
We put
said.
one drop
Yeah.
of Dawn on the inside and outside, and then you just wipe it away and leave it on there.
Okay.
And as he's playing, it never fogs.
Yeah,
Ever.
that's what one of the people watching on Facebook just said that too. Yeah, the Dawn Blue. Make a wipe. I don't remember the name, but welders use it for when the
Yeah.
glasses fog
Right.
up. That might work
I
too.
use it
Frank
all the
says
time.
spit works. Robert says he's got COPD, so he has to wear.
And I was going to mention
hey,
that.
Christian.
So yeah, if you have problems breathing, and I use an inhaler sometimes 2 or 3 times a day because I have light asthma, and so it is a little bit more important to protect yourself. Wear at least a dust mask, of some type of particle mask, to keep that stuff out of your lungs, because sometimes it's not about the particles going in, but it's about the vapor that you're picking up that will cause an asthmatic reaction.
Gotcha. So the Facebook user that I keep mentioning, it's Kirsten Kelly Steinbeck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hello.
So just so everybody knows who it is. So we've got a whole lot of show left. Do we have anything else PPE related, or do you guys have anything PPE related that you want to talk about? Or do we want to move to, rocks?
One thing, people, another one for PPE, when you're using a cab machine, try not to wear loose fitting clothes and
Right.
long sleeves.
Sure.
You don't want to get wrapped up into that
That's right.
machine.
That's right.
Should be putting
and that's
your
a
hair
very
up, putting
good
jewelry
point.
up.
Oh, and final
Exactly.
polish, especially guys, if you're using cerium or aluminum oxide or ZAM, wear a
Yeah,
respirator.
wear your masks for those, for sure.
I just hold my breath.
Walk
Walk away, get a deep breath, come back.
Hey, Chris. I'm assuming that's Chris.
Dave.
Now, guys, I really am. I'm guilty of this one thing. I've got my slab saw running. A sucker shuts off, and I'm like, and I open the top because I don't want to wait on that thing to settle. I want to look in there and see what slab came out next. So
I can't tell you how many times
It's
I
hard.
have
It's hard.
held my breath, unlocked the door, walked into the room, opened up the saw, grabbed the slab, switched it over, shut it, walked back out, and
Right.
just been like, all right, I'm good.
He's got bigger lungs than I do. I start going black after a couple seconds.
Start getting dizzy.
Yeah. Start fading away.
The oil, when it when it becomes an aerosol, and when you're using it, it foams a little bit. And when you open that saw up, that mist in there is droplets of oil. And whatever you are cutting, it's just like when you're using your cabbing machine. Whatever you're cutting is in that oil. And the bad thing about the oil is it's not like water that it'll just kind of dissipate. It sticks in your lungs, it sticks in your throat, whatever it is. So it's actually pretty important to be careful not to breathe the mist out of your slab saws.
Yeah, and don't open them while they're running either.
No, it's not pretty.
Just
Took a
in
bud
case
not
bath,
pretty.
did you, Courtney?
anybody's ever. I did not, but Steve did.
One time.
Because he didn't. Yeah, one time. That's right. One time.
One time. That's all it takes.
Back on the old lower tones we used to have, we had one both too. We used to have to push cut them.
Yes.
Yep.
Ugh.
That or forget to flip the guard down on my my trim saw, because I leave it up. I've dried my blade and everything, and I'm in a hurry, and I run over there and I flip that thing on. It's like
Are you running?
And I've got.
Do you
run oil in your?
No, I run
saw?
water. No, I run water in my trim saws. Oil is just too messy for me. I have
if you forget to put the thingy down.
Right, exactly.
No, we use water in the trim saw also, for sure.
Yeah.
I run water in borax. So
mineral oil in the big saws.
Yeah, mineral.
I know people that use water in their big saws.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I've chatted with a few that use water in the big saw.
So Highland Park.
Such a thing.
You avoid your warranty with a Highland Park if you put water
not
in.
anymore. Highland Park will now tell you that you can use water in your slab saw, as long as when you are finished, you dry out all those components and spray it down
So they don't
Really?
rust.
so they don't rust. Yep, because they are made out of
That's
aluminum
a
and
lot of
stainless
nooks and
steel.
crannies, man.
There
Okay.
really is.
Mhm.
Now, when I do mine, and you guys saw when we had that with the one show here a few months ago, when I cleaned my 16-inch Highland Park, I took that
Yes.
sucker out, took a power sprayer with soap in
That's
it,
what we do
and
too.
you know,
Yeah.
What
I'll
we do.
wash
Yeah.
it down. But then when I'm through, then I took my weed blower, and yeah, I blew all the water out of it. I mean, you get it right down everywhere, and it blew all the water out of everything.
You know what we did last time? We got all the oil and mud out of it, and then we filled it with water and Dawn dish soap and ran it.
I
And
never thought
opened
about
it up,
that, but
and it
why
was just
not?
everything was on the bottom. We drained it
Right.
all out, and then Dawn, because Dawn's in there, it just dries. It dries pretty decently quick.
Right.
So
Hmm.
that Blue Dawn's
Right.
miracle stuff, dude.
Right,
We
right.
used it for all
Dude, the
Yeah.
amount of time
And
it's
I
been
use-
mentioned,
I use
we need a
simple-
sponsorship.
Yeah, I use Simple Grain to clean mine when I get down to that
Borax.
point.
You
Oh,
can
yeah.
use borax and
Yeah.
water.
Yeah, Simple Grain.
Um,
Get the big gallon concentrate. It lasts forever.
Oh yeah, that's
Um,
what I use too in here.
So Kirsten also says that, like when you're using other chemicals, for instance, when you're doing jewelry work or mixing epoxies or doing stabilizing,
Yep.
be aware of what that stuff, what the hazards are with those. Because there could be a whole lot of different hazards, and that's a good point.
I don't know. We do 330, and every time that I use 330, I put gloves on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That stuff bonds at a molecular level. So if you get a drop on the side of your hand and you don't notice it and you don't get it off,
Yeah.
the skin's coming off of that stuff.
Right.
For sure.
Right. Right.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Right.
It's not super glue. It is not the same thing.
Acetone will take it off though if you get it before it's fully cured.
No, for sure. Oh yeah. But
Yeah,
if
you
it
get
cures,
before
you're in
it's
trouble,
fully
dude.
cured. Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
in trouble.
Well, and understand also what those labels mean. So,
Yep.
like with the stuff that we're using in the vacuum chamber,
Mm-hmm.
mine just went blank.
Cactus juice.
Cactus juice, thank you. So cactus juice says right on the label it's non-toxic. So you can handle it with your hands, stuff like that. But one day I was in here and I've got this little bitty shop and I was closed in. I thought, man, something is just making me so sick. And I had that running over there on the counter. And so I got to checking it out. The fumes from cactus juice are toxic. And it made me dizzy and sick. So there's two different areas of toxic or non-toxic. It's not toxic to work,
As
use
a
it with your
liquid.
hands, right? As a liquid. But then I got to reading further into that label and found out, yeah, you have to have that out in the open. So if you're in a confined space, then of course, your mask and everything to wear with that. And if you're wearing an N95, you should be okay with it.
I have to wear a mask. I sneeze. I tell Andrew every
Yeah.
time, dude. We just go out there and I just I gotta wear a
geez.
mask.
Hey, so I would say that if it is off gassing, an N95 isn't gonna separate that.
Doesn't stop all of it, does it?
No.
No.
So ventilation be about your only
Yeah.
real good thing. Yep.
Yeah.
A respirator, but whenever you're using a respirator, just the white respirator is actually for mechanical particulates. If you
Yeah,
wear,
we use the pink one normally. I just grabbed the closest respirator in the house. So
if you wear the pink one, it actually will suspend the organic matter in the air and it'll
Now,
kill those gases.
just a little tidbit, Matt, you well know this. To actually truly wear a respirator, you need to get fit tested
Yes.
with
Yes, you
the
do.
proper way, or that respirator is not doing you any good if it is not properly fit to your face.
Right.
We get fit tested for all of our N95 masks at work because everyone has a little bit different face and the masks fit a little bit differently. So we have
Right.
to go do a fit test once a year.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is important. So, what do you mean by a real respirator, other than the difference between the white and the pink? Do you mean something beyond that?
Who, me?
No. The rooted rockhound. I want to say it's Chris, but I'm not sure it's Chris.
Just next to Dave there.
But yeah, he said gases need a real respirator. I just want to make sure that
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm not speaking
I
of
think he's
something
saying-
more than.
I think he's saying an appropriate filter cartridge for
Right.
whatever you're trying to provide a barrier from, right?
Yeah, not the paper mask.
So yes,
You want
not
the can-
paper
you want the
mask. And yes,
canister
it's
type.
Chris. Yay me.
Yeah.
Hi, Chris. Okay, I just wanted to clarify this to make sure we weren't missing something.
No,
Well,
you can
and-
get
and,
canister filters for it that are
One thing that
yeah.
you can do, to Brad's point, is if you take the cartridges off, like 3M makes a reasonable priced. You can get it at Home Depot, at Lowe's, at a paint store. You can get it online. So 3M makes a reasonably priced respirator. You take the cartridges off without putting pressure on the mask. Put your hands over top of both of those inlets and try to breathe in. If you can pull air in, it does not fit you.
It's not fitting properly. Right.
And
Yep.
if you're a thinner person, you should probably try a medium. If you're a thinner person with a smaller face, like I'm talking a 90-pound person or something, you should probably try a small. But if you're, I wear a large. I'm not a great big guy, but I still wear a large because I've got a rounder face.
I wear
This-
a large too.
Obviously, I'm not cutting right now. This is kind of
You're gonna say causes all sorts of problems with respirators, Felix.
So that's another good point. So when we talk about, a properly fitting respirator, when you've got facial hair like you guys do, how can you get a
Vaseline.
proper fit? Vaseline?
Vaseline.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
The true way to do it is like when I was working hazmat is to be shaved.
Clean
No-
shaven.
No beard whatsoever, right?
Right.
Mustache no longer than a half inch below your lip. But the true way is to be shaved. The other way that does work efficiently and effectively is to put Vaseline on your beard.
Okay.
At work, we're required to keep a razor handy. So if something comes down the tubes and they have a hospital-wide thing, they say, no, we're going to N95, got to go shave the beard off. Everyone has to be clean shaven. And I'm telling
Okay.
you, it's rough for some of the gals I work with. They have thicker beards than I have.
Oh my goodness gracious. First thing I did was for the mask. Great section on mine. Needed the smallest one they make. Okay. Yeah. Well, Chris, you're a thin dude. For sure.
It was hard for me, guys. I would come home from the hospital because we spent a solid year of having to wear N95s for 8 hours a day. Then to
Yeah.
come home and want to wear a mask while I was out here cabbing, that was a tough one. They're not comfortable to wear all the time. And after you spend 8 hours in one,
I
I
worked
just
in a-
thought of another thing for PPE. What about if you're a napper, like leather chaps, maybe? If you're doing, like knee napping.
That's a good
People
question.
nap
Do
on
we
their
have
knees?
any
Yeah.
nappers on here that can give us some direction on that? Do any of you guys
If
do
you're
any nap-
napping obsidian on your knee and you're
Jaws.
striking with an antler, that's huge chances of getting cut.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
and I watch those guys. They usually have a leather apron they lay across, and then they'll
Leather
have
apron,
something.
another
that they
welder's
unfold.
apron.
Oh yeah, no, that would work too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've
And I-
been watching this guy online, and I was just thinking about how he wears like chaps whenever he does it. They just cover the front of his legs, not the back.
Right.
So whenever he sits down, he could just, even if he crosses his legs, it still covers.
Gotcha.
So
And do they wear leather gloves as well? Or it's interesting.
There we go.
When I wake up, I go back to
Anybody I've
cabin.
seen nap, I haven't
Day
seen
and
them wear
age
anything,
is
any
who we are.
gloves.
Frank.
No?
Yeah.
Okay.
Frank said,
Yeah, Frank said when he takes a napper, he wakes up and goes back to cabbing. Which is,
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
I agree with you. That's my kind of napper. But yeah, I mean, that's a
How to
good
nap
point.
so
I mean,
bad.
I would assume that there's different things that you have to do, right? Depending on what you're doing. Excuse me.
Eye protection is still really important when you're napping because
Absolutely.
you're using a
I'm
tool
sure
and you're
gloves are
knocking
too.
pieces of that off.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's glass.
I
Well,
would
and
love to
if you
learn
think
how to
about
do
it,
that.
any kind of nappable material is gonna break off sharp. Any of it that I could think of, whether you're napping like big chunks of agate or it's still just the break off patterns are gonna be sharp.
Right.
The
Right. And
cleavage, yeah.
Yep. And Jaws just made a good point too. You got to try and contain those chips that are flying off, right?
Yeah.
And,
We were just talking about that earlier
Yeah.
today too. I think that would be so difficult to contain.
yeah,
You'd
right.
have to just have a dedicated area, a dedicated set, a clothes, something.
Right. Unless you did something like, remember Kirsten used to have her enclosed Dremel box thing?
Mm.
She has a
That
new
she
one now.
would
She's still
use.
doing that.
Something like that would probably be good for
Right.
containing chips flying off and something, or,
And that's still PPE. I mean, that's protecting you, so it's not
Yeah.
always something you wear.
There's
Right.
a lot of plexiglass COVID boxes floating around that are
Right.
not being used anymore that you could kind of hide in.
right.
Well, and I don't know if you guys ever think about it, but I am getting ready to go buy goes above your stove, your cooking range, the fan and the hood. And I'm
Yeah.
getting ready to mount one over here across above one of my benches on the wall and run the pipe up through, so that, like, for my dot pots, or if I want to sit in here and have the vacuum chamber running with stuff in it, I can set it under that and turn the fan on, and it'll pull.
You know
that
what else
stuff out.
works good, Dave? And it might be a little cheaper. You might want to check out before you do that. You could just get a bathroom fan, buddy.
Well,
Yeah,
a bathroom
exhaust
fan
fan.
though, so
Yeah.
a hood, actually, the way it's shaped, it comes up and it pulls vapors because it causes a suction out around it, so it pulls those vapors up instead of just pulling from the general direction of the air
Yeah.
altogether.
Gotcha.
It kind of
And
lifts
them
those up.
bathroom fans, you're
Yeah.
just trying to pull moisture.
Yeah. And then at the same time, if you have space, then you can always kind of, like Matt was talking about, get some plexiglass. You could kind of form around that too. And the reason why the idea is because they use stuff like that at the colleges, in the chemistry departments, because of all of the vapors for all the chemicals. And
Right.
so it's basically a cheap fume hood. I mean, you can get one for $100 at Lowe's. And the way the fan is set up, but it's because of that coming across and the way they come around, it causes a draft to pull up from that area.
For
Right.
sure. Yeah, we have one because we have a gas stove. So,
Right.
Yeah.
I do too. Yeah.
And that's a good point too, Scott, that, Scott has these big, huge hordes of obsidian everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So he won't nap any obsidian or anything because of his dogs, but he also doesn't let them into the area of his yard that those piles are in,
man.
which is, a good safety for your animals, right? If you've
Yeah.
got that, that kind of stuff going on, keep your animals out of those areas.
Mhm.
I hadn't thought about that. I mean, I have dogs, and I don't do any napping, but I have a dog, and her name is Roxy, Rocksee. And yeah, my kids named her
Nice.
that before I even got home. But
That's great.
if I get a box in the mail, she knows what's in it, and she has to lick or pick up every single rock in that box. But I never
That's
thought
great.
about what if there's some obsidian in there, might cut her tongue.
Right.
Never
Right.
crossed my mind.
Obsidian,
It's funny you say that.
glass.
It's funny
One
you
of
say
the
that.
first times
Who's
we
right there with you,
used the
Matt?
cab machine.
I got
You remember
to
Gail hopping up on there?
Yeah.
You had to stop that damn thing with her hand.
keep the dino bone off the floor because my little guy likes to chew. He doesn't chew on any other rocks, but he will chew on a dino bone in a heartbeat.
Really?
Yeah. When Uba was a puppy, he used to go into our turquoise and snag pieces of turquoise and
Wow.
have to chase him for
Yeah,
him.
I
No
don't know
kidding.
why, but he'll grab the dino bone.
Interesting.
I had a chunk
I
of
had-
Kelsey, that big disappear.
I had an old German, my wire hair, that if she found a geode laying around, it disappeared.
Right?
But she wouldn't take nothing else but my geodes.
Isn't that funny? Wow. Thankfully, all of my dogs leave my crap alone. They know better. Don't mess with mama's stuff.
Well, and your mineral oil from your saws, I don't know what it is, but every single dog we have, if there's any mineral oil out there, they want to go and lick that up. So you have to make sure and keep that up away from the dogs.
Mhm.
I mean, if they were to lick up a little bit of what happens to, a little film on the porch or something, not so bad. But if you leave a bucket of it, there's something about the flavor they'll like, and they'll sit and drink out of that bucket. So be careful about having that around your animals.
Yes. So that's
Emma.
another good point. So let's talk about disposal, right? Because that's safety
That
kind of
guy,
too,
dude.
right? When
Right.
his tarantulas don't do that. You crack me up, Frank. I when I clean my saw, I drain everything out into a 5-gallon bucket, and I take it to the dump, and I leave it, where you drop off your paint and your other toxic stuff, and they take it, right? I don't put it like some people go out and pour it,
No.
by their fence or whatever. I don't do any of that. I take mine.
It'll kill your
down.
grass.
What do you
kill your
guys do?
plants.
Yeah. Well, I have poured it on my fence line, but let me tell you, it's an awful mess.
Right.
It does not soak into the ground like people think it does. I mean, I tried it, because really there's nothing in it but, just what come up out of the ground. And as long as like my gravel outside the house where there's no animals or anything, but
Right.
what a mess.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. Because I've thought about, I feel like you had said something about putting it on your fence line on a prior show. And I
Yeah.
thought, well, shoot, maybe I'll just go put it along the fence line and kill all that, because I've got some crazy stuff growing along my
Yeah.
fence line. It makes me insane. And kill all the stuff. And then I remember I've got foxes and I've got deer and I've got, wildlife that I
Yeah.
do care about out there. And I don't know what that's going to do to them. So let's not do that. Let's keep taking it to
Yeah.
the dump, right?
Mhm.
Right now, I'm filtering it through paper bags, and
you-
yeah.
And then do you reuse it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, see, I don't.
Um,
I'm lazy.
yeah.
I don't.
But mineral
See, if
oil
you
is
filter
so
it through
expensive.
paper bags and all the leftover clumps of like mud and clay that you have,
Yeah.
just dig a hole and bury them. It's not going to hurt
Yep.
anything. It's
Okay.
literally just earth at that
Yeah,
point.
exactly.
Because you removed
Yeah.
all the oil out of it.
Okay. How long does that take, Dave, to do something like that?
All depends on how sludgy it is and how much of it. This little bit I had, I run a gallon through there the other day. Probably took an hour.
Okay.
But it wasn't super sludgy. Sometimes if it's got really, really nasty stuff, and especially if you have to double bag because it's really nasty,
Yeah.
it could take several days to drain it through.
Okay.
But what comes out on the other end, I mean, it's not clear, but it's clean, and you just throw it right back in your saw and reuse
Right.
it.
Right. Now that I
Yeah,
have
so-
done, I have a 5-gallon bucket size, real super fine mesh strainer thingy
hmm
that I can do that with. But again, I'm lazy. Like I don't have, I ain't got time for all that. Plus, my oil is so dirty. By the time I clean my saw, it's almost.
Mine was pure sludge.
You can't even call it oil anymore.
It's
You know
more
what I
of a
mean?
grease.
It's
Yeah.
mud. It's mud. I mean, I had to take a putty knife this time. This was the worst it's ever
Mhm.
been. I had to take a putty knife and scrape off the bottom. It was so thick.
I did too.
It's so nasty.
But
Yeah,
you'd be
that much in
surprised.
the bottom of our
You
saw.
Yeah,
run that through a
exactly,
paper
right?
sack, it'll shock you how much oil you'll recover.
So
And just have,
much.
oh yeah.
Just put it in
Yeah.
a bucket and come back in a week and look at how much oil is
It'll
on
be that
top.
much.
Yeah. Now that I've done and like skimmed
Yeah.
it off,
Yeah.
But again, I'm lazy. Like I ain't got time for all that. Just give me some new.
Well,
oil.
and if you're
I'm
like
good.
some guy, I bet Jaws Jr., if you were to go over to his place, if he's got it all set up, he'll have staging buckets in there. You have multiple buckets out there, and I just took mine and I took a 5-gallon bucket and drilled holes all through the bottom of it, and then about I don't know, that far from the bottom, I
Mhm.
ran 4 bolts through it evenly so it'll sit on top of another bucket and not fall down inside of it. Throw a paper bag in there, dump stuff in.
Mhm.
Just that
makes
easy.
sense. That makes sense. I might could do that.
Buckets are $2.95 at Walmart, so you go buy
Exactly,
10
yeah.
of them,
Yeah, that's
and
right.
you can have multiple.
Yeah.
That way you're not having to fill one so full that it's taking 10 years for it to all drain through. You
Right,
can have multiple
exactly.
buckets through
That
there.
makes
Yeah.
more sense. I might could do something like that. Now, I find that very interesting that they won't take the mineral oil, Sharon. That's super interesting to me.
Put it in a paint can or a laundry detergent jug.
Right. Or just don't tell them it's mineral oil. So you actually have to put cat litter in it. That's like super interesting.
I agree, Courtney. I wouldn't.
Just don't tell them it's mineral.
I mean, I tell mine because they don't care, right? Like they're just happy that we brought it, right? Most I know just charge extras. Yeah, see, we get it here. It's all free. I don't have to pay to dump anything, no matter what it is. I can take up to 10 gallons of any chemical, paint, whatever, and just they got a little table and just put it on the table. We'll take care of it.
Put it in a laundry detergent jug and stick it in your trash can. Right?
That's what Scott says he does. He said his water-based stuff he dumps in a contained area. The oil-based stuff puts it in a black trash bag and into the trash it goes.
Yep.
You have to sneak it in, right? Wow. I mean, y'all.
I mean, you're talking about mineral oil. Mineral oil is basically, it's the same. It's baby oil, only baby oil has been refined until it's a little lighter. It's just oil. I mean, there's nothing hazardous about it.
Right.
And so it doesn't bother me.
You should have that conversation with the people at the dump, Dave.
Can you educate all the people at the dump, right?
Yes, you could video it. We could watch it.
There you go. Yeah, can you imagine the looks on their faces when you try and tell them, hey, look, guys, I put this on my head. That's how come it's so dark after the summer.
Right.
My wife is a chemist, so I know everything about that baby.
Right. I used to haul it. I ran tanker for several years, and so I hauled all those oils and emulsions and all of that, and so yeah. But when we're talking about using it here for the cabbing and stuff, you're just getting dirt in it. I mean, sure, it has chemicals and minerals in it, but you're straining most of that out. What's left in there is going right back in the ground. So it doesn't bother me too much.
Okay. Sharon said they're stupid where she lives.
They're all stupid, but
Sharon, I live in Oregon. They can't be any more stupid than they are here.
They're programmed, right?
I feel like she lives in Oregon too.
Come to think of it, I think she does, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
Chris said that he put his sludge exactly what you said, Matt. Put it in the laundry detergent container and snuck it into the trash. But he lives in an apartment too.
See, and what you just said, mineral oil is used for horses as a
laxative. And that's true, Kirsten. It is horses, cows, right? It's as laxative or always fun.
Like we use castor oil.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Always a fun process.
Made Matt smile. I want to know about that story later, Matt. Tell me. I saw a smile on his face like Matt's got something good in there. I need to know.
You can take a big swig of that mineral oil too. It'll work the same.
I bet.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, see, JV Rock, he knows what I'm talking about here. He was a tanker yanker too.
Okay.
It's everything. You've got somebody out there that has made a really big deal out of something because they'll read a sentence that they halfway understand and they go make a big stink about it, but they've never done any research to find out what it is.
Right.
Hey, listen, there are dangerous chemicals out there. There are some of the rocks that we do. That's why you want to know what your cabbing is. Sometimes PPE is really important. I went and got some of that stuff up here from the mercury mine, some of that opalite. And it's some of it has enough mercury in it that you want to be careful. But people also don't understand it's not the mercury on your hands. I played with mercury all my life growing up, but really, and it doesn't do that to you. But what you have to be careful and I think Matt said earlier, when you get it hot, so you got to have enough water on there to keep that vapor of that mercury from coming up, and that's where mercury gets dangerous.
Oh, we used to break every thermometer we could find, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Right. Roll it around in the dirt, watch it pick up.
Try to play marbles with it. I mean,
yeah.
We did.
Hey,
I mean,
wait a minute, Matt.
It was fun to play with.
The one thing we both have in common is we played with mercury and we have no hair.
I still got my hair. Yeah, I still got my hair. It just migrated to my back.
Right, yeah. It fell a little lower there.
Yeah, that's what happens. That's what happens. Good Lord. Oh, too funny. Too funny.
But in all seriousness, the people at the dump, they have no idea, right? They're minimum wage folks that sit there and accept and say, hey, these are the rules and you're not following the rules, so get out of here, right?
Right.
So they really don't know.
Right.
But I would like to see you go have that conversation with them, Dave.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't go real well. I've tried that before.
Next time,
Okay, I'll do that. Yeah, they just
If I
kind of
go
give you
to-
that stupid look and say,
If I
read
go
the
to
sign. There's the
dump
rule.
with my magnet, with my company magnet on my truck, they'll say, "Sorry, you can't come. It's a commercial vehicle. You can't come here.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
Drive around the block, take your magnet off, and you can come back in."
Yep.
And that's exactly what I do. We drive out, we take the magnet off, and we come back around, and they let us in.
wow.
Yep.
It's silly.
So down here, if I pull across the scale, we got a scale at ours. If I pull across the scale, they will charge me if I'm dumping commercial waste. So if it's something from a job, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm in there, I don't know, 3 or 4 times a week.
Right.
So if I'm dumping and I tell them, hey, and I'm pretty honest with them, this is from, we're cleaning out a job, whatever it is, you know.
Right.
But if it's from my house, they don't charge us. So
Okay.
I mean, they're all different. It's all ran by private entities or municipalities, so it's all different.
Right. 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 Interesting. All interesting stuff. We are at the 4-minute mark, y'all.
I'm just going to say I'd
Like,
like to do
share,
an
subscribe.
episode someday.
I'm sorry, Ryan. What were you saying?
I just said,
Like, subscribe,
I
share.
said like, share, subscribe, turn the bell on.
Ding, ding.
All that good stuff that we always ask you to do,
Join
right?
the Facebook group.
Yeah, join the Facebook
Yeah.
group, guys. Your opinions. We're doing all kinds of votes on there where we need your opinions. Please go let us know.
You guys can have the power to dictate the next show's topic, man. That's pretty crazy to me.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Yep. So we
We'd
have
love to see what you're up to.
yes. So
Share work.
we want to see your work. We want to see what you're working on. We want to see what you're collecting. We just want to see what you're doing, right? So join the Facebook group, share with us, talk with us.
Send us pictures for crying out
Send
loud.
us pictures. Yep.
Yeah.
Post them. Either,
Lots of pictures.
You can do the email, the love of lapidary @gmail.com. If you want to email us, you can post them on Facebook. I did a post the other day saying, hey guys, show us your work, show us your collection. And a lot of you commented, and we love that. But you can also just post it in the group, right? Like not on the page, but on the group. You can post on the group. We're doing polls every month for ideas for show topics. Yep, there you go. So we want your votes on those. We want your not just voting for what we put up there, but if you have an idea, add an option to the poll. You know what I mean? And we're going to do that every month. So the one for the November shows is already up. I think we're doing photography next week, and then equipment the week after. And then we got 2 more weeks, in November that we need ideas for. So help us out, hook us up. We want to talk about what you want us to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Whew, okay.
And define
tired.
poll next time, would
Somebody
you?
else
Because
talk
when you
for
said
a
you were
second.
putting up a poll, I shaved my legs, put on my Speedo, and nothing.
Well,
Please God, don't.
That's
if
enough
anybody
for
gets a
today.
picture of
Yeah.
Dave
God, don't.
on a
I'm done.
poll,
We're leaving. Show's over.
yeah.
There's nothing else to say. Dave ruined it.
Video that and share it too, Dave. Right? Go ahead and video that one.
Oh, Lord. Lord help us,
You guys
man.
are
You just see Dave like spinning in a circle and going backwards. You can see your reflection in the top of his head.
I tell you, I have no rhythm, so it's
I
just
call
not
this
pretty.
one the personal mirror.
Oh my God. Somebody said you didn't put no mineral oil on. That's why it.
See, that's why the poll felt
That was
sticky.
good. That's why the poll didn't work. That's right. Okay.
Good Lord.
Yes,
I'm
Chris,
done with this.
post your stuff.
Good Lord.
Okay, you guys, we love you.
We do.
Yep.
We're out.
Later.
Everybody
We're
say
getting
bye,
cut off.
guys. We love you. See you next week.
Bye.
Not pull. I'll put my singles away. Frank said.
Oh my
God, I
God.
love the shit out of you, dude. For real.
Oh my God.